Okay, welcome in everyone. I can't see yet who's here, but I can see Bonds is here, so welcome in. Um, I know this is again late notice, but I wanted to make sure that I was properly organised before I actually listed it, before I put it up as a live. So a lot of people probably won't have got the notification. So if you're watching this on replay, thank you for coming in. And if you are coming in now, welcome in. Now, I did a live stream nearly 2 weeks ago now where I told Biddy's story. So the young lady you can see in front of you here is Bridgette Porter. She was 10. Good evening, Michelle. Good to see you in here. She was 10 in July of 2020 when her life was taken by a 14-year-old female who was well known to Biddy and her family. And Biddy's story is one that hasn't been put out there. And even in Australia, we hadn't heard Biddy's name. We didn't know her story. So it's 8:30 a.m. in Canada. Okay, well maybe we might get some early risers, possibly. So I'm just going to do a quick recap of Biddy's story for anyone who didn't catch my live stream the other week. If you didn't catch my Biddy live stream, it's worth watching. This is a story that needs to be shared, needs to get out there. We need Biddy's name to get out there. We need her story to get out there because her story was hidden for 4 years. Because they wanted to protect the 14-year-old, the offender, the Supreme Court of New South Wales. Sorry, dogs. Okay, sorry, getting distracted. Bear with me for just a moment. Amira. I don't know if it's because she can hear me talking and it's not the right time for a live stream, or if she's trying to distract the other dogs because she's got a stash of biscuits in front of her at the moment. So my apologies for that. The Supreme Court in New South Wales made a ruling which meant that Biddy's family was silenced. Biddy's name was hidden to protect a 14-year-old offender. The 14-year-old offender who took her life. Biddy was 10. Biddy's parents went through 4 years of suffering on their own without being able to share their story, without being able to share their daughter's story. And I can't imagine the damage that must have caused. And yes, Biddy does have siblings as well, and I try not to talk about siblings when I'm talking about cases. But we also have to recognise the impact that would have had on her siblings. Imagine, it's hard for adults, but when you're not an adult yet, it's a hard thing to deal with. Yeah, that's amazing that this case is only a few hours up the road from you and you hadn't heard of it. It's wrong. And I think the more we can get Biddy's case out there, the more we can tell her story, the better the chance that it's not going to happen again to another family. Now, Biddy, back in 2020, was living with her father. So Dom had custody of Biddy, but she would also go and spend time with her mother. So it was a joint custody thing. And it was school holidays. So, that's a time when you should be looking forward to doing fun things and going and doing fun stuff, especially for a 10-year-old. And Biddy went to spend some time with her mother. And now I can't remember the circumstances around it, and it's not something I want to dwell on because tonight I want to mainly focus on Biddy. But I just want to give a background story for anyone who's not familiar. So when Biddy went to stay with her mother, her mother sent her to spend some time with her grandparents. And they sent her to spend some time on a farm nearby. Now, this would have been a really exciting thing for Biddy because she had 2 other children there. I'm just trying to word this. Who she could spend time with. One of them closer to her age, the other one was 14. But see, the 14-year-old had been having mental health issues for well over a year. And nobody had paid any attention to all the warning signs. The 14-year-old had knives that were like pets to her. They had names. And she'd expressed this desire to kill somebody. She'd already killed chickens a year earlier. And she had told her parents that she'd thought about killing them. But they didn't take the knives off her. In fact, her father bought her a tomahawk. And her mother later said she didn't believe in mental health problems. So I believe it was the second day that Biddy was there. It was an early start because it was a farm. And the mother of the 14-year-old and the younger sibling of the 14-year-old were heading out to go milking. And they were going to take Biddy with them. But not being a farm girl, she was not really awake yet. And even though they knew that this 14-year-old was really unbalanced, even though Biddy had had issues with the 14-year-old the night before, they left Biddy at the farmhouse with the 14-year-old. And by the time they came back, the 14-year-old was gone and Biddy was no longer alive. It was a really brutal crime. Now, the 14-year-old went over to a neighbouring farm and basically told them what she'd done and asked them to call the police. And the police came, they arrested her. But it was declared that she was considered to be not criminally responsible on the grounds of her mental health. This was something that was pushed through in a rush. Dom and Rebecca weren't really given any sort of advocacy around that. And Dom and Rebecca are Biddy's parents. They weren't given adequate advocacy. And they were told that there was a rush because the public prosecutor was going on holiday. And the thing with that is that their deadline just happened to fall around the 1-year anniversary of Biddy's death. Meaning, how were they to make any sort of decision? How were they to know what was the right choice? So this 14-year-old basically was considered not criminally responsible. There was never a trial, and she was sent to like a mental health institution. And she now gets day release while Biddy's still gone. And here's the thing. You're so right. She knew what she was doing. She even told, welcome in everything Jess, sorry. You know, she told a friend the night before that she was making plans. She had expressed this desire to kill so many times. She was definitely lucid when she was talking to the police after her arrest. And she knew that it was Biddy that she was doing this to. She wasn't imagining some ghoul or something. And she basically just told police, well, it's because she wanted to do it. So we have 6 years on, and we're now able to tell Biddy's story. We're now able to say Biddy's name. So tonight, I don't want to focus on what happened to Biddy. I want to focus more on Biddy and also a little bit on Dom and on Rebecca. Now, Bonzi, you mentioned about the posts that Dom put on Facebook. There's quite a few, and if you are on Facebook, the link for the Justice for Biddy Porter page is in the description for this live stream. But what I've done is ahead of time, I've actually gone through and oh yes, the game of tips before. Yeah, the one on the swing I'm going to actually finish with at the end of this live stream. But I'm also going to read the one of the 2 girls that he wrote a few days before, because I think that is a powerful way to really start this live stream. She really, really was a beautiful little young girl. The game of tips. So for anyone who's watching this who didn't catch the live stream, the day before this girl took Biddy's life, she wanted to play a game with Biddy and her younger sister, the girl's younger sister, which she called serial killers. She was basically chasing them with a knife. And detectives asked her to explain it, and she's like, well, it's, like a game of tips. Biddy was clearly so frightened of her that she either ran into a bush or ran into a barbed wire fence. That story is a bit confusing, and maybe I need to listen to that again. But it sounds like her version of tips was chasing after these girls with a knife and basically using the tip of the knife if she caught them. Anyway, I'm going to start with a post that was put out by Dom a few days ago. So I'm putting the post up, but I've read through it, like I've pre-recorded it because I wanted to make sure I got it right. So I'm going to play that first and then go on with the live stream. Make sure I get the right one up. This photo is one of those memories that looks so simple from the outside. 2 kids, a kitchen bench, craft, laughter. Biddy being Biddy. But as the anniversary of Biddy's murder gets closer, my body knows before my mind can even catch up. I've been trying to look after my mental health. I've been doing the work. I've been trying to stay aware, stay grounded, and keep moving forward. But grief and trauma do not run on logic. There's a reason the words, "the body keeps the score," hit so hard, because it does. My sleeping heart rate has jumped by around 20 beats per minute. The nightmares are more vivid. The flashbacks are stronger. Some mornings it's harder to separate what happened in my sleep from what is real. That's what trauma does. It does not just live in memories. It lives in your nervous system. It lives in your body. It shows up before anniversaries, court dates, hearings, birthdays. and quiet moments when everyone else thinks time should have made it easier. And still today, I spent the past 6 hours writing my submission to Parliament about the reforms I believe are needed to the Mental Health Review Tribunal and the Specialist Victims Support Team. Because this cannot just be about what happened to Biddy. It has to be about what happens next. It has to be about families who will one day find themselves thrown into the same broken systems, trying to understand laws, hearings, reports, processes, risk assessments, and the victim support pathways while they are already destroyed by grief. Families should not have to fight this hard just to be heard. Victims should not feel like an afterthought. Parents should not be left trying to navigate a system that seems to know how to manage offenders better than it knows how to support the people left behind. And this is why reform matters. We're watching governments move quickly when children are given access to things they recognise as dangerous, including illegal or high-powered e-bikes. There are conversations about age limits, seizure powers, fines, and parental responsibility. But I have to ask the question, how can a child being given access to an illegal e-bike be treated as a serious safety issue, but multiple weapons being given to, left with, or allowed to remain in the hands of a child not trigger the same level of urgency? How can giving a child multiple weapons not be seen as at least dangerous? How can that not raise serious questions about adult responsibility, supervision, risk, prevention, and accountability? This is not about punishment for punishment's sake. It's about prevention. It's about asking why families like mine are left fighting after the worst has already happened. When the warning signs, risks, failures, and missed opportunities should have mattered before a child was murdered. Time has not made Biddy's murder easier. It has only taught me how to keep breath while carrying it. This is the reality for families left behind after homicide. We do not just lose the person we love once. We relive pieces over and over again while still being expected to function, fight, explain, advocate, and survive. Whoops, that's my cue. Sorry, I was so busy trying to respond to Summer Breeze that I lost where we're at. So, Summer, this is the case of Biddy Porter. This is a 10-year-old girl from Australia. She was killed by a 14-year-old girl who she knew and whose family she was staying with for a few days. It's an older case. This happened in 2020. So today is the 6-year anniversary of Biddy's death. So Biddy should have been 16 now. This post was written by her father, Dom. This is on the Justice for Biddy Porter page. And I thought it was a really powerful way to start the live stream because it shows the cost. And I think that the thing that stands out to me is that the government is making all this noise about, e-bike safety and stuff like that. And let's make sure that children under 16 can't get on social media. But nothing was done. Nothing at the moment is preventing this from happening again. How does a 14-year-old end up with knives that are like her pets? And when the parents hear that she's expressing all these disturbing thoughts, when she's already displayed a tendency for unnatural violence, how does a father buy her a tomahawk? And how does it get silenced? Yeah, I went to look to see, how many articles there are, and it seems like there were a few articles in the first few days, and then silence. Um, they were pretty quick to jump on this and silence the case. And can we be honest here? Yes, they're like, well, let's protect the 14-year-old girl. But I think it's more than just that. I think it's about protecting the system, because we're talking about a situation where mental health of this girl was overlooked. There were... Do you need to go out? You do you? Are you sure? You are. I'm just going to play another clip. Just try and find out where I'm at with this. Okay, I'm just about to take her outside. What I'm going to play is this was made by Women's Warrior, who is one of our subscribers. So she emailed me this today, and this is a song that she made as a tribute to Biddy. So I'm going to put that on while I take Taka outside.
Since she flew, Biddy's dream calling like morning dew. Sweet lioness child dancing in the sun, spinning through the fields where the good times run. Her giggles echo on the ocean breeze, little fire heart bringing all to their knees. Roots deep grounded, her spirit not straight. In every reggae beat, she light up the way. Though the dark came heavy and tried to steal the flame, she rise like the phoenix, calling out her name. In memories we hold, in the stories we share, Biddy's love a river flowing everywhere. Fun keep growing for the dream she inspire, turn
Thanks for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment. Please light up YouTube with tributes for a 10-year-old girl who deserves justice and protect the children of the future. Until next time, God bless you all.
Who is held accountable when another family loses a loved one? I don't understand how a girl like that can be released, even on day release. So thank you, Women's Warrior, for making that. I thought that was really sweet. Now, there's a shorter news story. It's from a current affair. So I will have to pause as I go through it. I won't be able to play it straight through, or there will be copyright issues. It's a far more recent story than the one that I showed the other week, and it's a bit more of Dom talking about what they've gone through. So I want to play that, and then I'm going to go through some of Biddy's writing that Dom has shared on the Facebook page, because for a 10-year-old girl, some of the stuff she wrote was pretty damn good. And like I said, I wanted this to be focusing more on Biddy than on what happened to her. Welcome in, Deb. Good to see you in here. So I know I'm not giving the full story here of Biddy, what happened to Biddy, but I like the idea of just basically reclaiming today for Biddy as opposed to focusing on what happened to her. This is my way of shining a light, which something that Dom posted that he was, hoping people would do today. So I will just press play on that, and it'll come up.
She was my world. She was my girl. Heartfelt words from a father who lost his young daughter way too soon. Bridgette Porter, known as Biddy, died when she was just 10 at the hands of a 14-year-old girl. And for almost a decade, Biddy's dad, Dom, has been fighting a system he says has failed his family.
A million times we will miss you. A million times we will cry. In our hearts, your whole
She left a big hole in your heart, didn't she?
Yeah, she was my girl. Yeah, she was my world, 100%. Yeah.
Look, here's Daddy's present.
You were gone before we knew it, and only God knows why.
I can twinkle like a star.
She was an innocent, loving little girl.
We're going to charge you with murdering Bridget.
On a July morning in 2020, the 10-year-old girl murdered on a property in northwestern New South Wales. A 14-year-old girl was arrested.
Did you have anything to do with that?
She willingly surrendered to police.
Yep, keep your feet on that step there.
It was a case that drew little media attention because laws prevented identifying the killer and her victim.
The suppression order that was apparently there to protect us did all. It did absolutely nothing to protect us. It protected the perpetrator and her family, and that's all it's done.
I can't believe that they thought that suppression order was going to protect Biddy's family in any way whatsoever. All it did was isolate them and make it harder for them to live with the trauma that they were going through. It just seems like a really, really poor choice. And I'm glad that they were able to fight back and that we can now tell Biddy's story.
It took the Porter family 4 years to overturn the suppression order, allowing them to talk publicly about their daughter. Her name, Bridgette Charlize Adele Porter, known as Biddy. Has time done anything to heal some of the wounds?
No, mate, no. Like, the wounds never get a chance to close before there's another mental health review tribunal, there's another birthday, there's another anniversary.
So how many knives do you have?
Biddy's dad, Dom, can't get the police interview with his daughter's killer out of his head.
We're going to charge you with murdering Bridget. Do you understand that?
Overrun with anger and wanting to take out revenge. I'll be 100% honest. I got to a point where I knew I was ready to do something that was violent and criminal.
The 14-year-old girl was found guilty but not criminally responsible due to mental impairment.
We just felt like we were misled by the DPP and the whole process. And this sums up the last 6 years as well. The whole process is too hard for people to comprehend. We went through several years where we legally weren't allowed to say Biddy's name. Like, that's just preposterous. It just makes no sense.
How is that justice? How could you do that to a family? It blows my mind every time I think about what it must feel like to lose a child and be told you can't even talk about what happened to your child. And they're saying that protects the family as well as the 14-year-old offender. It protects the 14-year-old offender, that is all. It really does not make sense. You cannot make it make sense. And I have no doubt, and I think most of you who watched the documentary that we went through the other week would agree with me. This girl is a psychopath. She should not be given day release. I think the way that Dom and Rebecca were basically talked into agreeing to go along with this, not criminally responsible thing was unfair on them. And I think, maybe something down the track that needs to happen in cases like that is that there needs to be, when a family has to make a decision like that, has to, have their say on a decision like that, then I think there need to be social workers involved to help them work through that decision. Because to do that, like on the 1-year anniversary of the brutal murder of their child, and expect them to actually fully understand what they're being told, expect them to actually make a decision that is going to be the right decision for them, it's cruel. It was all about the red tape, all about the system, nothing about justice, nothing about the family or the victim, in my opinion. Yeah. The legal system is arse about completely. I totally agree. Yeah. I just hope. So the what's my brain is fried. So focusing on the dogs. The inquiry thingy has been like it's gonna start again in November. And I just hope that it doesn't turn into one of the usual things where all these agencies just kind of band together and still sweep it under the rug. Because this is a case that needs to be known. This is a story that needs to be known, and changes need to happen.
Conviction meant the killer remains under the care of the Mental Health Tribunal. Now, every 6 months, Biddy's family has to front up for a review of her mental state.
Perpetrator-centric system that is there to protect the perpetrator and to protect their mental health and their needs, and it has zero to do with the victim's family from my perspective.
Before Biddy's murder, Dominic was a bank manager. He'll never forget the day police turned up to break the news.
I didn't know what to do. I couldn't process it. Hit the wall, then I had staff members come in. I fell to the ground in a heap.
Dom's life crumbled. Eventually, he lost his job. He was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder.
Flashbacks every night. Every night I wake up to her mutilated face and body pressing on my body. That's become situation normal.
Over time, Dom's mental health deteriorated. He tried to take his own life.
I just couldn't do it anymore. I'd just given up. Yeah, everyone's got a window of tolerance, and mine had been breached for so long. I couldn't do it anymore. I just wanted to be with Biddy. And
while his life fell apart, his daughter's killer was receiving treatment and care. He says she was even placed on the National Disability Insurance Scheme. So her killer was getting support from the NDIS?
Yeah.
Whoa. I didn't know that. Now, how can someone who's institutionalised also be getting help from the NDIS? Yeah, a cup can only hold so much. There's so many people out there. You hear every day people talking about how hard it is to access the NDIS. You hear people talking all the time about not being able to get the services they need. And it sounds like they're just throwing money at the offender.
Again, in my mind, it just doesn't pass the pub test. Why is the perpetrator or criminal given much more rights than the victim, and we're forced to fund all this stuff ourselves, which is impossible?
Dom applied for and received a $300,000 NDIS package. He was promised the budget would be managed and he wouldn't have to worry.
I thought $300,000, there's no way in 3 years I'm going to ever access or need to spend that.
But according to Dom, his NDIS package is a joke. He says it doesn't cover the one thing he so desperately needs: therapy for the mental burden he now carries.
But there's roughly about $200,000 worth of funding there, rough figures, that I can't use for the therapies that I actually need.
Why?
That's the wonderful structure of the NDIS.
It's just it's a red tape nightmare, isn't it?
It is.
Really.
And it's impossible.
Dom even had to threaten self-harm before he was taken seriously.
That's not justice, and that's not morally right. For all I know, that's probably just an email or a phone call.
For $50?
Yeah.
He says navigating the NDIS quagmire has been a massive hurdle.
I come from a corporate background. I can't get my head around it.
Wouldn't you think the National Disability Insurance Scheme?
You're kidding me, right? A former bank manager can't get his head around the NDIS scheme. That is intentionally made that way to make it inaccessible for people, in my opinion. I cannot understand a system. The system really is broken. They should be throwing every bit of support they can find at this family. And instead, they're having to deal with their own traumas, their own grief, and still fight at the same time. How is that right? The NDIS scheme really does seem like a scam. It's just insane.
Would it be set up to intervene at that time, when you were at your lowest, to help you?
Yeah, you would think.
Dom wants the system for victims of crime changed.
I don't think victims should actually be managed under the NDIS, personally. I think there should be a whole separate thing for especially heinous crimes.
An inquest in
I agree with him 100% because victims of crime don't have the capacity to deal with the additional stress of trying to navigate the NDIS. Like, how much do you want to put onto these people? How much is too much? Because it should be a separate system where they are fully supported, where they don't have to jump through hoops to get support. Wow. I've heard so many people say a similar thing, that it is just a nightmare for people to get access to the NDIS scheme. It just seems wrong.
Biddy's killing is about to be held. Another nightmare for Dom and Biddy's mum, Rebecca, and it looks like they'll have to foot the legal bill themselves.
So the quote we've got from the lawyers is $17,500 each. That was when legal aid was going to provide some funding. I was informed yesterday legal aid isn't going to provide any funding, so that fee may then increase.
And you guessed it, the killer will receive free legal representation.
The perpetrator's entitled to legal aid. That, again, it just, maybe my moral compass spins differently to everybody else's, but that makes zero sense to me.
How do you feel you've been treated as a victim?
Horrendously. Like, the system needs to change, and not just for me, for other families. I can't change what happened to Biddy. I don't have control over that. But what she would want and what I want is a better system that is victim-centric and that looks after victims, and we're just not left to fend for ourselves with minimal to no support.
$18,000 each, and that's when they thought they were getting help through legal aid. Like, how do you justify that when the offender gets all of it for free? It shouldn't cost this family a cent. Any legal staff associated with the loss of a child in a crime like this should not be worn by the families. The system truly is offender friendly, and they don't care about the victims. Guide Dog Association was great, helped us navigate. I could imagine, I've got a friend who's legally blind, and the support she's been, like, I've known her since we were young teenagers, and she's had so much support from the Guide Dog Association right through, and still does. They're an absolutely wonderful organisation, that's for sure.
Dom now wants victim support laws re-examined.
As it stands now, it's a crime to sell a knife to an under 16-year-old. Makes sense. There is no crime, apparently, to give a apparently mentally ill person multiple weapons and then leave them unattended with a child.
And he wants Biddy remembered.
People don't even know Biddy existed. They don't know what happened to her. But it was the least publicised murder known to Australia, and one of the worst crime as far as I'm aware.
With the help of the Homicide Victim Support Group, which has provided crucial financial support.
Yeah, in terms of suing the other family, that could create issues as well, because of the connections that exist. And I think that's why that avenue has never been followed. I have to be careful what I say because obviously we still have to protect the offender. So, you know, there are things we're not allowed to say because we're protecting the offender. You know, I can't believe I only heard about this case 2 years ago. None of us knew about this case because it was hidden. How do you do that to a family? How do you do that to a 10-year-old girl? But Dom's right about the laws, you know. You can't sell a knife to someone under the age of 16. But someone can buy a knife and give it to them and not be prosecuted? I think the Australian legal system needs to start taking a look at some of the cases in the United States where there has been accountability put on family members. You just have to look at Ethan Crumbley and his parents. They were made accountable and they deserve to be made accountable, in my opinion. And if you're going to buy a tomahawk for a mentally disturbed 14-year-old, then yes, he probably should be held accountable. Yeah, definitely all the more reason why there should have been support. And that's the thing, they're going through this trauma, but there's also so many feelings as well around the connections to the girl who did this. Can't sell knives to people under 18. Youngsters moving out of home need an adult to stock the cutlery drawer. True. Now, we have, I believe in Victoria, they've now banned machetes because of teenagers getting them and waving them around and being idiots in, like, shopping centres and stuff. I do find it ridiculous when last time I bought some cutlery in Big W, I'd bought a set of butter knives, and I was going through the self-checkout, and it flagged them, and I actually had to have a staff member to come and tell the machine that I was over 18 to buy butter knives, which is a bit ridiculous. But to be possible to buy, like, things like tomahawks and stuff and give them as gifts to teenagers. Yeah, a lot of the machete attacks are by new Aussies. Although we've had a lot of idiot teams here in Victoria who were just bogans, basically. I don't know where they're coming from. I don't know if they're buying rugs or something, but there seem to be a lot of teens that haven't been taught respectable behaviour, essentially. Okay, I'm not sure. I'm going to press play, but I might have to fast forward through this bit. I'm not sure. Just simply, there is things that the family have requested that aren't discussed.
Dom's focus is helping others.
And that's what Biddy would have wanted. So yeah, one get the story out there so that we can get that public pressure to change the way we do with victims. Nobody can bring Biddy back. Nobody can change the last 6 years.
I can twinkle like a star.
But some good has to come out of this somewhere, and that's what Biddy would want, and that's what I want.
Star.
Love you to the moon and back.
It's impossible to comprehend what this family has and continues to endure. The coroner's inquest starts next week, and let's hope Dom gets the answers he deserves. And if you or someone close to you needs help, there is support available. Contact Lifeline on 13 11 14. That's 13 11 14.
I probably should have edited that a little bit better, but I was kind of like throwing it all together. I was kind of working on this afternoon after this morning's live stream. Yeah. Kids need to be parented. That's what it comes down to at the end of the day. Kids need to be parented. I love that one with Biddy doing the star thing. It's so adorable. It really is. And you can see she's just such a gorgeous little character. Really, really was. So the inquest was postponed. Well, I don't know if it's postponed or if there's like, an investigative part, but so they had about 3 or 4 days of the inquest, and then it resumes again in November. So it just drags it out even longer. So I've got a handful of, and I'm not sure if it's, I think I've put these all in the one. Whoops. Okay, I'm not sure what that is. Hang on, bear with me for a moment.
I'm so shining. I can twinkle like a star.
Oh, I know what it is. I know a lot of you were here in the live stream that I did the other week, but what I've pulled out is Dom and Rebecca's bits where they were talking about Biddy, because I've put all the case stuff aside now, and for the rest of this live stream, I want it to be a focus on Biddy and her family. I will pause that and I will bring up this one. I'm juggling multiple things, so hopefully I've got it right. This should be all the written things that Biddy did. So there's a number of ones that I just wanted to go through because she wrote some really cute little poems. So first of all, this picture that you can see, which I think is really gorgeous, is the tattoo that Dom's got on his arm now. And I'm going to replay that clip if you didn't see it in my live stream the other week. But that's Biddy's last bit of artwork. That's the tattoo that Dom now has. So I wanted to show that. And then I think we have some of Biddy's poems. I might have to read it off my iPad. Just looking at it there. It's I don't know if it's the angle of it, but it's harder to read suddenly. No, it's an icy blanket. Sorry, now I get it. An icy blanket covers the ground. Plants, grass, and warmth are nowhere to be found. Rashes of goosebumps polka dot my skin. The crackling smoky fire is thin. Instead of dying from sweat, I'm in a freezer and wet. Breathing out an icy storm, frozen, I try to conform. So a very cute little poem about winter that she wrote. And I think many of us can relate to that right now. Although the weather's been a bit better, we've actually had some sunshine here for a few days, which is always a plus. Yeah, my heart breaks for Rebecca and Dom. I wish they didn't have to go through this sort of pain. Anyway, another little photo in between, and then these are some poems that Dom found. These are ones that he published not long after Biddy died. So these are off his own Facebook, and then he's shared them on the Justice for Biddy page. As I wrote, the trees awoke, and the sun spoke, and the wind threw flap across the blue as they talked and they walked, and nature sang to the beat of the humans' feet. The colour swirled over the world, and the flowers boomed their sunny tune, and watery waterfalls turned into golden rivers. I like her way of writing. It's just, I don't know, it's just got a bit of a melodic tone to it, hasn't it? So that's another one. There's two that Dom had on her iPad that he shared. So the second one that will come up in just a moment. You can see up there, I put his comments as well. So another one of the many undiscovered poems. I can only assume this one was a work in progress, but a little darker than her usual work. As I was in the night and thunder shouted and rain crowded and trees showed in screaming rain of the people's pain, and nature screamed and cried to the witch's brain, and the bats went insane, and the trees died as they cried, and the wind roared to the, and I can't see that because it's blocked on my screen. I should have brought it up. Cried and roared to the Lord. Yeah, so I can see what he's saying about it being a little bit darker and being a work in progress. Looks like it's a lot of kind of thinking about the dark night and the thunder, and she's just kind of thrown it all together at some point. But just another one. And then I'm not sure if I'll read through some of the longer ones, but I will bring them up. She wrote a rather lengthy, and I know you probably can't, you'd have to zoom in, but I'll read a little bit. This was, because this is back in 2020 when we were going through all the COVID stuff. Okay, you go get some rest, summer breeze. Go and get some rest. So I'll just read a little bit, but I won't read the full thing because it's like 2 pages worth. But you can find this on the Facebook page. 2020 should be the year to forget. How prophetic is that? This was, I'm not sure. Wow. This is written 25th of June, 2020. So less than a month before she lost her life. And she's talking about 2020 should be the year to forget. There's so much irony in that statement. It's been so bad, it's pushed the Great Depression into second place, and it's taken first place. We've dodged diseases, kicked away social life, quarantined at home, and nowhere to go but the fridge. My name is Bridgette Porter. I'm 10 years old. I go to Mullion Creek Public School, Orange, New South Wales, in Australia. And I was part of the COVID-19 generation. I'm going to read a bit more of this because this is really great writing for a 10-year-old. It's hard when all you can do at home is mope around, watching the seconds on the clock, seconds turning into minutes, hours, fading into weeks, weeks forming into months. School systems shut down, life shut down, fun shut down. Seconds feel like eternity. Restrictions are being dragged by a sloth. We can't go to the movies, the park, the shows, musicals. What's next? She was a really good little writer. I agree with Dom. Biddy could have made such a difference in the world. She certainly had a great legacy ahead of her. This is incredible writing for a 10-year-old. It's really amazing. What's next? Zombie outbreak, alien invasion. I'm grateful for the news and that we are not emulating Italy, who have to sign a document saying where they're going. Well, that's a good thing we don't have to do that. This is all very stressful. Wow, that's a 10-year-old saying that. Sometimes I wonder if we'll ever make it through this. But I'm holding on with country and staying strong. Social distancing is very important, so myself and others can't get sick. She really is an old soul. So much understanding for a 10-year-old. I think reading this really does give us an understanding of the legacy that she could have had, that she should have had. Social distancing is where you have to stand 1.5 meters apart, and you have to make sure you're not touching anything like railings, traffic lights, poles, or anything. Oh, it was insane. Something is on a side path. Hand sanitizer and toilet paper have been celebrities since the outbreak has started. It's been stocked up. People have hogged it so much that they have to put limits on it, and police officers have to patrol the sanitary aisle. There have been fights over tissues and bog rolls. Everyone is going crazy. Some people have started building bunkers full of safety gear. So there's a lot of, the rest is just still talking about COVID and, the effects of it. This is really mature writing for a 10-year-old, I have to say. I love that she's referred to bog rolls. For anyone who's not in Australia, bog rolls is the Aussie term for toilet rolls, in case you were wondering what the heck we're talking about here. Just, shows she's so very ochre, isn't she? Typical Aussie. There's just a few more things on here. And I thought this was so appropriate after reading that. Dom wrote this. He said, "Wish I had the power to speak at my baby's funeral, as these definitely would be the words I would have used for her. Being an old soul is difficult because you are not here for greed, lust, inflations, quantity, comparison, competition, nor constant experiences. You're here for solitary peace, tranquility, soul, wisdom, deepness, love, and empathy." He's really described her from what we're seeing, what we're learning from both him and Rebecca. It certainly sounds like it. And just a few more bits and pieces. Just another thing that she wrote about COVID. I'll just put that up there if you want to screenshot it and read it later, or it is there in the Facebook page. So it was a poem that she wrote, but I won't read through it because I think we've had enough talking about that horrible time in 2020. It was clearly an impact for young people. Now, this is a bit of art that Biddy won a competition for. It's recycled art. So, Waste to Art has unveiled the orange winners of this community art exhibition. and she called it a populated life. So she actually won. Yeah, I bet she did write her own little songs for her guitar, own songs for her. Yeah. Um. So Biddy in the open category, Bridgette Porter of. Hang on. This year's Orange winners were Megan Buttress and Gary Barwick in the open category, Bridgette Porter and Spring Hill Primary School in the primary category, and I can't see the rest of that. But so she actually won that, and she won after she was gone, which is sad because I think she would have been delighted. I think that's so cute. Okay, I'm going to switch back to just going back through if I can find the right video again. I just want to go back through. I'm going to play what Dom and Rebecca said about Biddy in that longer documentary. Just to kind of finish this off. Like, I wanted this to be not too long. Just wanted to, talk about Biddy. There is a few more things at the end that I have to share, but I want to go through what Dom and Rebecca were saying about Biddy first.
Shining, I can twinkle like a star.
It would be hard to imagine how anyone could pack more into 10 years of life.
I chose wins as my project.
Creative, athletic, musical. And a writer way beyond her years.
Here's the Anzac one. Screaming and yelling like sirens, my eardrums burn. My arm emerges from the sheets and mutes the anarchy. Wow. Wow.
Oh no, she's a clever girl. Yeah.
Wow.
And definitely a daddy's girl.
My dad's name is Dom. He is 44 years old. He has black hair and brown eyes. His favourite food is chips. His favourite colour is black. He likes to watch the news. My favourite things to do with Dad is we like to go outside. I love my dad. Happy Father's Day 2016.
Honestly, my heart just goes out to Dom. She clearly was a daddy's girl. It's just heartbreaking. It really is.
This was the daughter parents dream about.
Hi guys, it's my mom's birthday.
Gosh, I just miss her little presence. I miss her giggles. I miss caring for her.
So pretty.
I miss loving her. I miss her love. She was a very sweet girl. She slept with me in my bed every night. She'd always come into our bed, and I miss that.
Adored and admired at her tiny bush primary school.
Well, there you go. Oh, that breaks your heart. I know heaven will be a beautiful place because they have you.
Yep.
I will miss you. From Arthur.
P.S. Here's a lollipop for you to have when you're in heaven.
Love this photo of her with her dog.
This looks like a very special room, Rebecca.
It is a special room, Michael. It's the room I have set up in memory of Bridgette.
I can see everywhere great images of her.
Yes. Yeah, lots of memories, lots of photos, her little trinkets, clothes made into a quilt.
Oh, show me that.
Yeah.
I'd love to know who did that artwork that Beck's got on the wall, because it's so beautiful. It just really captures her essence, doesn't it?
Her school uniform and It's her school uniform, her pillowcase, bits and pieces of her clothing.
Really? And someone's made it into a quilt?
Yes.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
So this was all the cats here was her favourite pillowcase?
Yes,
or?
that was her favourite pillowcase, and yeah.
So all the fabric are parts of uniforms and things that were close?
Yes, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
special thing. What does that say on the back?
It says, the best and most beautiful things in the world cannot be seen or even touched. They must be felt with the heart. In loving memory of Bridgette Porter.
Yeah, I love the quilt. It's such a beautiful idea. Oh, Michelle, that's wonderful. Have you been able to find out where they come from? Because I think they're such a lovely thing, that's for sure.
Dom, everything in here has significance for you in remembering Bridgette.
Definitely.
Would you like to show me a few things?
Yep. So this little artwork here, she actually won first prize, but it didn't actually get published or judged until after the killing.
That's a real quirky piece. That's some creativity right there.
Yeah, definitely.
What do we have here in the orbs?
So these are bits of ashes scattered throughout those orbs, and I usually get one for each occasion, birthday, Christmas, that kind of thing.
What a beautiful memory.
Yeah, definitely.
I understand you got a tattoo for Bridgette, did you?
I did, yes. Yep, so across my top left shoulder, Mento Vitae, in Latin meaning remember to live, her final drawing, and then her details. Again, part of my mantra around life is one foot in front of the other.
Do you speak to her?
I do, yeah. I do speak to her. I speak to her all the time. And I say I'm sorry for what happened to her. And that I love her. And that I'll be with her one day.
I like this extra bright star name deed. So a star has been named after her?
Correct.
If you look up tonight,
yep,
and if you've got the right bearings,
yes, exactly,
you'll find Bridgie's star.
Fortunately, my sailing abilities gives me the ability to do so.
Oh, so an online company in Victoria makes them. That is so cool. Because they're so beautiful. They really are. I think they're a wonderful way of preserving ashes and just having something so beautiful.
So her star shines brightly.
Most definitely, always.
I can twinkle like a star.
I love that little thing where she's just doing the twinkle like a star thing. It is so cute. So I have a few things to finish off with. There is Dom's Facebook post from today that I've done. I've basically pre-recorded it because I wanted to make sure I got it right, so I didn't want to just read it on a live stream. There is also a little poem which I believe, I haven't been able to verify, but it was an image that Dom posted that was written on a whiteboard. And I suspect that it was written by Biddy as opposed to Dom. But I think it is very fitting anyway. And then I also, instead of my regular outro, like, you know, the outro with Kylie's song, I just did a little song, a little tribute song for Biddy, which I'll finish it with as well. So I'm essentially going to sign off here and then play those things because they're all pre-recorded. So I just want to say, if you want to find the Facebook page, the link is in the description here under this live stream. Also, please hit the like button because we really need to get Biddy's story out there. Share it on social media. I didn't share it with Dom. I told Dom, I sent him a message saying I was doing this live stream, but I didn't let him know that I had it listed. Because I know that right now, today's not an easy day for him and Rebecca. But feel free to share it on the Biddy Porter page if you think it's worthwhile. It's hard for me to judge my own work, so, people can make their own choice. Share it anywhere on social media. Just, hit like, share it social media. If you're watching on replay, leave a comment. We just really need to have Dom and Rebecca and Biddy's brothers in our hearts and minds tonight and today. And we just need to get her story out there, I think. So I'm going to play these pre-recorded bits. So this is me signing off, saying thank you. But do stick around for these last bits as well, because they are definitely worthwhile. Today, I went back to Mullion Creek School. I went there to visit Biddy in the only way I still can. I went there to sit on Biddy's swing. For some people, it may look like a school playground, a swing, something simple for children to enjoy. But for me, that swing is so much more than that. It's Biddy's memorial. It's the closest thing I have to a grave. It's where I go to feel close to my daughter. And that matters more than I can properly explain. That swing exists because people cared. Some of the people following this page now helped raise the money for it. They helped give me somewhere to go. They helped create a place where Biddy is remembered, and where children at Mullion Creek School can still enjoy something beautiful in her name. It was built in Biddy's memory, but it was also built for every child at that school to enjoy, and that matters, because Biddy should still be one of those children. She should still be laughing, growing, learning, changing, making friends, making memories, and living the life that was stolen from her. Stolen from Beck, stolen from her brothers, stolen from me, and stolen from every person whose life Biddy should have gone on to touch. That's one of the hardest parts of grief. You do not just grieve who your child was. You grieve who they were becoming. You grieve the birthdays, the milestones, the conversations, the laughter, the ordinary days, the future, and all the lives they would have changed if they'd been given the chance. Those of us who had the pleasure of knowing Biddy seem to share the same feeling. Biddy would have changed lives. She already did. And hopefully, through the power of people standing with her, she still can. Instead, on the anniversary of her murder, I sat on her swing. I sat there as her father. I sat there with love, grief, anger, pride, and a pain I still do not have proper words for. I haven't been posting as much because this time of year is hard in a way I can't fully explain. My body knows the date before my mind can even prepare for it. But being there reminded me of why I keep going. Because the more people who know Biddy's story, the harder it becomes for the systems that failed her to look away. The more Australians who stand with Biddy, the stronger the call becomes for justice, change, and reform. For Biddy, for Beck, for her brothers, for me, for other children, for other families. So this does not happen again. To everyone who helped make Biddy's swing possible, thank you. You gave the school children something beautiful. and you helped make sure Biddy is still part of that place. Please remember Biddy today. Please share her story. Please stand with her. Empathy. I don't know what it's like to be you. You don't know what it's like to be me. We have our own problems and fight private battles that others might not see. We can never truly know what it's like to walk in each other's shoes, but we can listen and show empathy.
Tiny years so bright, shining eyes, dimpled cheeks, an old soul in a small room, deep in thought, soft and deep. You held the world so gently, like it was made of glass, and every look you gave us made the hard days pass. Full of love and empathy, you felt it all so true. You saw the hurt behind the smile and reached right through. Shining star, you still light our way. Shining star, love won't fade away. Shining star, in every heart you stay. Shining star, gone too soon today. Full of love, full of spark, creative with your hands. You wrote whole worlds in little lines, made magic where you stand. Stories, poems, all your dreams, racing down your pen. And on the table colored worlds you built again and again. Beautiful drawings on the page, quirky shapes in clay. 1,000 little pieces of you still bloom today. Shining star, you still light our way. Shining star, love won't fade away. Shining star, in every heart you stay. Shining star, gone too soon today. We keep your laugh in our hands, your careful, kind eyes too. In every story, every song, we find a trace of you. And if the night feels heavy, we look for your light. A small bright girl who taught us love, still shining in the sky. Shining star, you still light our way. Shining star, love won't fade away. Shining star, in every heart you stay. Shining star, you.